Hello, once again, dear viewers, and welcome back to another Moonflower Tarot reading. And today's reading is coming off on one of my off days. My upload schedule has been a little bit weird lately, dealing with some stuff, but I have been called to do some. I'm hearing personal messages, so there's a lot of energy transmutation happening in the collective and around me right now. So Um, my upload schedule is probably going to change a little bit, but um, I definitely am going to be putting out at least 3 videos a week. So if you're seeing this on a weird day, that's probably because there's just stuff going on, and y'all know all about it. I'm fine, by the way. It's just every once in a while, especially going into the spring phase, people start off new chapters of their life, and if you are in this energy too, just know that this is a collective movement, and the awareness of that, especially dealing with the shifts in an entire collective's consciousness, can bring in some weird dramatic changes and things shake up. And I've also been called more to do like when I when when I say personal readings, giving my personal experience more. Um, which is a little bit different for me. It's different from the way I was taught and the way I know how to do it. But whenever spirit asks me to do something, usually it turns out great. So if you're new to this channel, this is not what I normally do, but it might be something I might do in the future, is to give a little bit more talk on some personal things and experiences, because it definitely relates to the collective. Everyone's going through the same thing, and I've been through this so many times, and I feel it energetically, that I think like I know enough to be able to at least speak on it. And if you're here and you like story time, well, this might be something you might want to hear right now. And if it's found you at this time, this is probably for you. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new here, or if you're here supporting this channel. I'm very much appreciate everybody, and we'll see what I can give you for this, because a lot of this feels like energetic shifts and letting go of an old paradigm, what no longer serves us. And this usually, at least from my experience, happens the same time almost every year, or at least collectively, it happens because it really is in the zeitgeist of a new year. An idea of, I'm hearing self fulfilling prophecy of everyone during this time, at least between December and April, is going through their own personal new year. And when I say personal, I'm mostly talking about like a cultural new year, whether it's, whether you celebrate New Year's Eve or the Chinese New Year, or the astrological New Year. It's usually during this time as the seasons are shifting. And that brings in a lot of our collective consciousness working together, because that's what we do. And, advertising en masse from December to the middle of February is new year, new you, transition from this year to the next and be something completely different. And, interestingly enough, it kept being brought to my attention in a lot of my dreams, even, that this is the year of the wood snake. And while I don't necessarily follow Chinese astrology, I do know, or I think it's important enough, especially on my own specific journey and my own timeline, to look into different cultures and how they interpret aspects of human nature, because it does actually fall into play with all of us. And it's good to have that cross communication through cultures, because there is this idea of there being cultural and language barriers, but when it comes to soul work, there is none. And especially, like, I was personally born in the year of the metal horse, and a lot of that holds true to my type of frequency and energy. And beyond that, it does actually help me be mindful of how I go through my life and what I need to look at. And the more we tap into our natal charts, we see that there's a lot of information in there by design that we don't even see. And I say that this happens every year because I literally, from the moment that I started my healing journey, like 4 years ago, up until this very day, I literally kept a journal of every single time I had something happening in my awakening. All my dreams, I put in consistent effort, like very disciplined, like to the point where it's like I had 10 notebooks filled with just stuff of everything I was experiencing, the lives I was reliving. And every single time it was almost the same exact thing again and again. There was different themes that came up, but energetically it's like there's a transition I'm going through. Themes that came up the year before are coming up again, and it's not like the exact day and the exact time and place. It's like that window of 3 months. It's like the first quarter of the year, these things are going to come up and you're going to release them. And that was sort of one of the promises I made to myself, even on my own personal journey, is I'm clearing some of these shadows to be able to align with a better version of myself. And a lot of people are doing that now consistently. The darker it gets around us, the more we are forced to shine our lights. And if you are here and you are doing the work, I applaud you, because it's not easy to be out there and to be shining that light. We are radiant, dazzling beams of pure energy, and we deserve to live in that high consciousness and that high timeline. And it's hard for all of us to shift at once, because some of us actually have to fall away. Some people in our lives had to go away, or we had to move on from them. And, you know, energetic shifts are not easy. Transforming and evolving is not easy. Going back to what you knew from another lifetime is not easy. But with consistent effort, you can reach that point. And even in my own transformation cycle, I kept looking back at certain times or specific, themes that came up, because I have a lot of dreams. Like, I heal through my dreams, and I set intention, because I am a very vivid and lucid dreamer. I set intentions that I am healing with my dreams, transmuting through them, and then bringing up any like repressed energy I might have within my subconscious to my waking life. But that's my own personal method. It will differ for each one of you, but if any of you align with that, that is a valid way of healing your soul and your psyche. Because, you can heal through your dreams. It's energy work. You're working with the divine. And sometimes it's easier, if you are capable of having vivid and lucid dreams, for God basically to communicate with us, and have a very vivid experience of what's happened. But I would only suggest you do that if it is something you're called to do, because I hear some of you might need a trauma counselor, if that, or you're going through. I'm actually seeing some of you have that, so you're going through that work, because that doing trauma work in this incarnation will actually affect all previous incarnations energetically. And you might actually wake up to themes that happened in another lifetime. If that's true for you, then you are doing good work, because basically the life you are living now is a continuation of those lifetimes, is a continuation. As I said in another reading, when we transmute energy, it's not an abrupt ending and a new beginning. It's a continuation on a spectrum, on a timeline. You're shifting these frequencies slowly. I'm actually seeing someone plucking a harp string. And it's like, you can't just put your hands on the harp string of your soul. It's like you strike a chord and you let it like run its course, because if you stop that, it's like your soul forgets. You don't get the memo. You don't get to play that all through, and then you just end up striking that chord again, because you didn't let that pass through you. So there's a lot of energy work and healing that's being done with the collective, because that's what happens when darkness comes to light. We have to choose a direction we go in. And the world is, oh no. So I heard a song. I'm not going to link it in the description, because if you want to look it up on your own, you can. Because personally, to me, it came up during a very, very dark time in my life. But it's basically, I believe it's the Google Dolls, Black Balloon. Yeah. Coming down, the world turned over. I think it's Angels Fall Without You There. That's the lyric that came up. Yeah, there's a lot of y'all. In case you didn't get the memo, God wins. In the end, let me just cover these up for a second. So, by the way, y'all, God wins. That's the answer. Love wins. Hate might win the battle, but it ain't gonna win the war. That's one of the toughest lessons I learned on my spiritual journey. Is facing a lot of hate and cruelty ain't easy. People haven't been kind to you. That's true. The world has lost its ability to love each other or to teach each other how to love. And it's hard to be that light. It's hard to be that example and to live your life peacefully and basically cause civil disobedience by being the ones who peacefully protest and then sometimes have to not so peacefully protest. And that's not on you to decide that the world needs to change itself. And I know a lot is coming up right now, but I think Spirit really needed you to know that, because it's your actions dictate the future of the world. And if you are choosing love above all, there's a lot of things you are transmuting, because I am being told read these in reverse. You're transmuting your soul's ability to speak its truth unapologetically, watching a lot of stuff happen in your life and the world around you collectively tumble down at the end of a cycle, and you not knowing what to do. And let me just tell you, you're doing good work and it's not easy, but you're also not alone. I'm here with you. I have been called to tell more stories lately because 4 years ago, my world fell apart. On March 1st of 2021, my world just completely collapsed in on itself. And I'm going to be honest with you, it really hasn't stopped collapsing since. So let me just tell you, it's okay. I am here with you. I'm just like, there's a little bit of rubble left at the tower that's been torn down in my favor. And what I'm going to tell you is it's so much brighter. You get through that first avalanche of everything falling down around you, knowing you are safe and you're strong and resilient. And I'm just telling you, just to be very, very honest about this, is that it doesn't stop falling down until everything's cleared so you can rebuild something beautiful. And maybe that tower was going to fall down anyway. But what is right for you will always find you, and you will never be without Spirit. So if you have any doubts about this transmutation cycle, it is here for you to clear out old relationships. And I think that's why God wanted me to proceed this reading by giving my own example, because this was me 4 years ago. I think it was a lot of us 4 years ago, but specifically mine came literally a little bit, well, not after everything happened in 2020. It came shockingly almost 2 years later. But there was a catalysm that caused for me to have to choose to change or stay stuck in an old cycle. And if you're here and you're choosing to continue change and what's best for you and stand up for yourself and your worth, you're being relieved of all these burdens. Like, the world placed the burden on you, and you might have had to go to other sources to find relief. And those sources might have let you down too and forced you to bear those burdens. And let me tell you, that's the worst feeling in the world. And that's a betrayal on your soul level of knowing you need help, but the people who are there to help you just won't, or they just can't because they need help themselves. So I'm seeing like the sign of Chiron. So your Chiron sign, if you don't already know it in your natal chart, you might want to look into it, because that's the wounded healer. And that might be a key to either a spiritual awakening or doing shadow work. Most of you, I feel like, have done a spiritual awakening. You're just still healing from this. But let me tell you, you need to know it's going to be okay, because let me just tell you something. Whenever I go back to a place in time where I was less healed and I'm standing in the present moment where I have accomplished so much, I just realize that not only how much energy it takes, but how much it is worth that. Because the person I was even last year is not the same as I am now. There are certain things that I thought about nonstop or I was triggered by last year that I no longer faze me. In fact, like, something came up recently, like in a dream or like this vision I had, and I just was like, wait, that was actually a thing. And then I had to go back into my notes and my journals and was like, oh, it was. Wow, Jesus Louise. But there is this idea within the entire collective of everyone else is responsible for carrying their own burdens. Sorry, everyone in the world is responsible for carrying their burdens. Yes. Are we meant to do it alone? No. Are there people who take advantage of others who need help carrying burdens? Absolutely. And unfortunately, there are people who will not only see you carrying your burdens, but will force you to carry theirs, even when it's their responsibility to help you, and even when they made a promise to. And trust me, I know how many times I went to someone for help because I knew I needed it. And what did they say? No, help yourself. And then I went back into my own history with them and said, I have a collection of every single time you needed help, and I jumped in a second to every time you called me, I was there. I jumped in a moment's notice and I helped you. I saved your life, and all I need you to do is just carry a cup of coffee for me on a bad day. And they couldn't be bothered. It's like I wasted hundreds of dollars on a person, got up in the middle of the night, was on a phone call for hours talking them out of a bad situation, and the moment I needed them, they're like, new phone, who dis? And I'm like, okay, you're off my fucking call list. And let me just tell you, that is more common. And it's more common than we thought as a collective. But when you go out there and you see that there are all these people who will say we'll help you, but they don't. And I know that this might seem weird for me to just come in and say, hey, this is my own story with this. But you know what? My angels are like, say it. Just say it. You're not alone. Guys, you're not alone. These people who tell you carry your own burdens while they force you to carry theirs, no, go away. Be gone, thought. You're not welcome here. You know what's welcome here? You standing in this energy, in this truth. You deserve this power back. You deserve it. I'm calling it back to you. Like, be gone, thought. Be gone, Satan. Those people aren't welcome in your life. You know? Be gone the days of you carrying other people's burdens for them. Be gone the days of you doing the healing work for others, because you're completing the cycle. You're standing in this beautiful light. If you have known people who are, lost in this struggle, this battle, they're coming through to you to help you clear this. People you might know that are near to your heart are going to help you, because I keep hearing that song from the Goo Goo Dolls in my mind, and it's very, very it is very, very sad. There's like this idea of needing to let go of a lot of what doesn't serve you, and it's painful because that's one of the biggest things that happened. And I'm actually being told one of the one of the things I did when I found out something about someone in my life who had betrayed me, when I had to go back into my memories, and I actually had some flashbacks to certain times in my life, and this was over 3 years ago, everything that they gave me that basically contradicted all the flashbacks and images I got of that relationship or situation, I threw in the trash. And I had a day where I cleaned out, my God, I'm getting passionate. Excuse my language if I start just cursing all of a sudden. I was cleaning out my closet. Everything this person gave me, I threw in the trash, and I cursed their name, and I forbid them from entering into my life. And the problem is, this person is gone. Like, they were already dead. So I was revering a dead person who I thought loved me, basically. And I needed to let go of them because I was letting go of the illusion of love they gave me. And unfortunately, that's the painful part of waking up to a truth you don't want to see or hear. But it is painful, but it is manageable. And if you ever need help, please seek those sources. Go anywhere that you can, because there are people out there who can help you. And it's not easy to do this alone. You don't have to. The biggest thing you need to do is step into your truth right now, because that's how you're going to get through this. You're going to get through this painful realization and awakening the more you are honest about what you went through, because there will be people out there. I have to give another example. I'm literally, God is like, just tell your story. I went to therapy. And I'm going to just tell you, truth be told, I am so much more better off and well-adjusted than I was even 2 or 3 years ago. I went to therapy like a year ago, And the moment I sat down with this therapist, I kind of knew she wasn't for me, but I was willing to give her the benefit of the doubt. But the moment I came in and was talking about some of the things that happened in my past with my family, or some of the things that happened even in the present moment with someone who mirrored my family, this therapist was not there with me in the room. They were not there physically. They weren't holding space for me. Their tone was, well, it happened in the past, or their tone was, well, they might have had a good reason. And I'm like hearing this and I'm like, you're just an enabler. You're not here with me. You're dragging the people that I'm trying to heal from into the session so I can't heal from them to make me empathize with them. I spent my whole life empathizing with people who hurt me. Why are you telling me to empathize with those people? No more. And the moment this therapist sat there with me and told me to empathize with someone who hurt me, rather than sitting down and saying, this is how you get through this. I'm here with you. I promise you. What they did was not right. All I needed to hear is that was my pain validated. They refused to do it. And I had to say, I disagree with you. Why would you tell me? Why would you tell me not? Why would you tell me to empathize with this person who clearly hurt me? And then they had the audacity to say, well, we'll pick it up in another meeting. And I'm like, what the frick is going on here? You're not alone. There are therapists out there who do that. They are not good for you. And it feels like God just said the phrase, okay, Archangel Gabriel came through because he's really passionate and with me, he's responding. Archangel Gabriel just said the phrase mental health clones. So there are these therapists who go by the book. They're very much the clinical paint by numbers, DSM-5, what you have is this, pathologize the person, but don't empathize with them. And that's kind of the vibe we have in our society. So if you feel like you're fighting a losing battle with people or just having a hard time finding like-minded people, you are not alone. There are a lot of people out there. You know what? I'm going to link a resource to you. It actually might help. It actually might help you. Actually, I do have a resource you can look at. There's a website called, I forget the name. I think it's Mended Light. I actually learned about it through another YouTube channel. If you're interested, it's called Cinema Therapy, and there's this therapist called Jonathan Decker. I believe that's his name, but he has a program that deals with like trauma healing, and that might be an interesting resource for you to look into. That just came to me. So I'll link that in the description below if you're interested in that. But there are so many other resources you can look into, like local offices, you know, sitting down with someone just to say, this is what you need. But other than that, like, it still is a matter of trial and error sometimes when you get a therapist. And that's the hard part here. But don't give up on yourself. Follow through with everything. And even if you're not seeking therapy, at least let this be a sign for you to know you're not alone and it's not in your head. And there are licensed therapists out there who don't sit down and humanize with you or empathize with you because they were just given a paint by numbers playbook on human psychology without adding in the humanity into it. And that's not fair to you or anyone else. And I'm sorry if this happened for you, but I'm just letting you know it happened to me too. You are not alone. And there are so many people out there who don't know how to advocate for themselves. I used to be someone who sat down with people and talks them through a lot of these things. So that's why I know how to help people. And when I'm not being helped, is because I had to learn to be that for others as well. I wouldn't say I was exactly, I mean, technically I was kind of in the same realm as a peer support counselor, but it was like unpaid. It was just like I did it voluntarily because if someone came to me and I knew how to help them, I was not going to deny them that. Well, in this day and age, I'm more of an empowered empath, so I don't just allow anyone to take from me. But sometimes you need to know the difference between who is and is not helping you. And just being someone who is capable of helping others does give you that, I guess, that baseline comparison. If you are someone who goes out there and helps others and others aren't helping you, which seems to be clear to me in this reading. Like, others might not be helping you in the way you help them. Like, it's not your job to save everyone. You know, there are other people out there who will help you, because the more you stand in this Queen of Swords energy, the more the world is for you. You can complete the cycle. You can take everything you learn from your life and transmute it into a new and positive experience. The full energy comes after this card. You start a new cycle, brand new. It's just about being true and saying what you went through. Don't sugarcoat what you went through. Because people will stand around and say, oh, you want to say that? You might trigger others, or don't say that. People don't want to hear it. It's like, well, frick you. How many times were you there for other people? You didn't say you didn't want to hear it to them. So screw the people who tell you they don't want to hear it. Speak your truth. You went through hell, and you deserve better than people entering into your life who say you are going through hell. I don't care. That's on you. It's like, I would help you through your hell. I just asked you help me through mine. If they can't do that, they're not for you. And that's a hard lesson to learn. But if you are going through hell right now, we are with you. The angels are with you. We love you. If some of you work with Persephone, she might help you with this death and rebirth cycle. This is what's happening. But one of the biggest suggestions I'm giving to you right now as a personal experience, and from what God's asking me to share, do not sugarcoat your experience. Don't base your ability to speak up for yourself on what other people might do in reaction to it. Like, if someone comes in and says, I don't want to hear it, it's like, okay, I'll tell it to someone else. But you dare step over your truth and your story. What you went through. To ask for help is not to be a bad person, and you're not incomplete or wrong for doing so. It's just a necessity, a human need to have a community and to have people to empathize and a rapport with someone you trust, who's not going to gloss over the fact that you went through this. You speak your truth unapologetically. Say what you need to say. And now Spirit's asking me to pull a card for an end result. If you're still here, I'm so grateful to you and I applaud you, and you are very well loved. And I'm so happy that you're here on this journey. And I'm here with you if you ever need any help. You know, if you ever just post them and like write in the comments if there's any more healing messages you want to give me, or if you want to hear more of my experience, because I do feel like I really do want to help. Okay, well, brava, we have. Well, what I'm going to say for you is the end results. I'm hearing the end justifies the means. So one of the biggest promises God gave me when I was going through the spiritual healing and shadow work is, what I gave to the universe will come back to me tenfold. Inevitably, it's all going to work out in the end. That's just how we transmute energy. And, you know, as far as you go up, you go down. As far as you go down, you go up. And that's the energy of transmutation. So what we are seeing as a result of you doing the shadow work is you're going to be more aligned with yourself and the people who care about you. And you're entering into this new phase of your life where there is balance. You are moving forward into an energy where there is hope. The tower isn't falling anymore. You are resurrecting from the ashes, and you are sitting there in your full authenticity and shining that light. That is the promise God has for you. And that's what you are going to get through. And I am helping you get through there. I am actually going to, after this, say a prayer. Actually, you know what? I'm being asked to say a prayer now. So give me a moment. I'm actually being told I should pray for you. Dear viewers, you are divinely protected and guided through this. May God watch over you and protect you during this transition. God, Archangel Michael and Gabriel, stand upon the guardians and ancestors and angels of this dear collective. Watch over them, guide them, transmute through them, align them with their highest light, relieve them from this pain, shed them from their sorrow, and carry them through this shadow. Speak into their hearts the truth that they are not alone, that they may embody that energy of pure light, be able to break through this barrier, wear the crowns of the lights above, to be one with the one most holy collective on high. Bring peace and love on their journeys, dear Lord, with your grace and mercy. Amen. So I think that's all I have for you today, dear viewers. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you the best of luck on this journey. As you transmute this energy, just know this future is for you. I'll keep you near and dear to my heart right now, but I will say another prayer for you later on this. Have a nice day.